We don't have to know x and y in order to determine x squared plus y squared. We can derive x squared plus y squared directly from x plus y and x cubed plus y cubed. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how. Hey folks, Steve the Math Buddha here, and I am back with another viral math problem. For today's question, we are told that x plus y is equal to 10, and that x cubed plus y cubed is equal to 340. And from that, we have to determine the value of x squared plus y squared. Now, the natural inclination for many of you might be to solve for x and y first, and then calculate x squared plus y squared. But you know what? We don't have to do that. We don't have to know x and y in order to determine x squared plus y squared. We can derive x squared plus y squared directly from x plus y and x cubed plus y cubed. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how. But before we get to that, please show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you want to see more content, how about turning on those notifications so that you will know when future videos are coming out? So where should we start with this particular problem? Well, I see right away that this term times this term is going to give me an x cubed, and also that this term times this term is going to give me a y cubed. So maybe I should start by multiplying these two sums together and see what develops. Sometimes that's what we do in math. Sometimes we just play around and see what works. So how do we go about multiplying these two sums together? Well, we have to use the FOIL method. First, x times x squared equals x cubed. Outer, x times y squared equals xy squared. Inner, y times x squared equals yx squared. And finally, last, y times y squared equals y cubed. And let's get our x cubed and y cubed together since that sum is known. And I see that xy divides each one of these terms. It divides this x times and this y times. So why don't we factor an xy out of this sum and write it as xy times x plus y. Next, let's simplify. We know the value of x plus y. It's 10, so why don't we just plug it right in? X squared plus y squared we don't know. That's what we're trying to solve for. So how about we give it a name? Why don't we just call it r? Now, over here on the right-hand side, we have x cubed plus y cubed, which is known. That's 340, so let's plug that in. The xy is not known, so how about we give that a name too? Let's call that s. And that's being multiplied by x plus y, which is 10. So we could write this product as 10s, giving us 10r equals 340 plus 10s. Now we have to back into the value of r equals x squared plus y squared, which means that we're going to have to get a handle on this other unknown, this s equals xy. So how do we go about doing that? Well, how about we use this identity? X plus y squared equals x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. Now I'm not going to multiply that out for you, but it's easily verifiable using the FOIL method. And let's get our x squared and our y squared together since that's what we're trying to solve for. Next, let's simplify. We know that x plus y is 10, so when we square it, we're going to get 100. Now these two terms we're calling r and s, so let's plug that in. And now we have 100 equals r plus 2s. And that's perfect. Now we have two equations and two unknowns we should be able to solve. But first, let's do a little manipulating to make sure that our two equations are compatible. Let's start with this equation down here. Let's subtract 2s from both sides so that we can get the r alone on the right. And that's going to give us 100 minus 2s equals r. Next, let's flip that equation around so that we can get the r on the left side like we have it up here in the first equation. And that becomes r equals 100 minus 2s. Finally, let's move up here to our first equation. How about we divide through by 5? That will give us a 2s to cancel our minus 2s. So what we get when we divide, 10r divided by 5 gives us 2r. 340 divided by 5 is going to be twice 340 over 10, or twice 34 equals 68. And finally, when we divide our 10s by 5, we're going to get 2s. And now we could just add. R plus 2r gives us 3r. 100 plus 68 gives us 168. And our minus 2s is going to cancel with our 2s, so that leaves us with nothing. And now we're left with 3r equals 168. Finally, we divide both sides by 3 to get r equals 56. And that's our solution, folks. X squared plus y squared equals r equals 56. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you might like to see in the future. If you have any ideas for any math problems you would like to see me solve, let me know. I will certainly take a stab at them. I am here to serve you. As usual, I have links to the Fiverr page of the amazing artist that does the designs for these t-shirts, and also to the Zazzle site where I get t-shirts printed. And seriously, check out that Zazzle site. It's amazing. You could take any piece of original art that you have and put it on a t-shirt, a mug, a pillowcase, any product that they have to offer. And if you are going to buy anything at either one of those sites, please use my links because it helps to support this channel. And I'm afraid that's all I have for you folks today. It's time for me to go. I am the Math Buddha, and I am signing off once again. Have a great night and have a truly pleasant tomorrow.